on, guys. Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I am JD from New York, bringing you all the latest WWE news and rumors. We are 3 weeks away from the lamest party of the summer. Summer Scam is only 3 weeks away, and if you watched Monday Night Raw, you now know the main event of Summer Scam. It will be Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against one Randy Orton, who, in my opinion, cannot lose at all in this current program he has right now with Edge. But what does SummerSlam mean to each and every one of you? Do you even care? I don't think anybody cares about SummerSlam. SummerSlam hasn't felt the same to me in many, many, many years. The card will obviously be fleshed out over the weeks to come, but the one big question is, where is SummerSlam going to take place? I got a report from multiple sources on that very question. WWE is actually looking into running SummerSlam outside the state of Florida with fans in attendance. Good luck with that, Vince McMahon. Earlier this week, PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported about WWE looking into running SummerSlam on a boat or on a beach. And Brian Alvarez noted on the Observer Live that Vince McMahon wants to do something quote-unquote wacky with SummerSlam. The only thing wacky about WWE is they're terrible fucking creative. He wants to do something wacky because he doesn't want the show to take place inside the Performance Center. Why is that? Why doesn't Vince McMahon want the show to take place inside the Performance Center, folks? Vince McMahon has something a lot of people don't have, and that right now is a home for his company in the middle of a pandemic right now in the United States. So why doesn't he want to run the show inside the Performance Center where he has everything he needs? WrestlingNews.co was told that McMahon has gotten bored with the way the show looks inside the Performance Center. So Vince McMahon now wants to take it a step further because he's bored. He's bored with the Performance Center. He doesn't like the way it looks. He says it is a tired look. Now, one idea that's been floated around is to run the shows on top of WWE headquarters, Titan Tower, in Stamford, Connecticut. WrestleVotes actually reported this week that WWE has been looking into hosting SummerSlam in the Northeast at an outdoor location with a limited number of fans in attendance. As of right now, there's no interest from states, of course. Why would there be? We're going to be closed down in this country by the end of the summer going into the fall. I guarantee you. Now, WrestlingNews.co has been reporting that McMahon had been hoping to welcome fans back to the shows by September, but with cases spiking in many parts of the country and with some evidence that we may be seeing spikes again in some parts of the Northeast. I know New Jersey had an uptick in obvious positive cases and so on and so forth. It will be tough to get approval from states at this current time. We are less than 4 weeks away, 3 weeks if you guys want to nail it down to an exact number, 3 weeks away to the lamest party of the summer. So a decision will need to come as quickly as they can make one, and would arrange travel and lodging and everything for the talent. They need to get a decision made now. Of course, COVID-19 tests would be administered to wrestlers and staff so that they could obviously move forward with these plans. And like I said, the main event of SummerSlam will be Drew McIntyre defending the title against Randy Orton, the WWE title, that is, against Randy Orton. Now, a boat is not happening. I'm telling you right now, a boat is not happening. With reports that WWE was meeting, head officials and management were meeting today, Friday, about SummerSlam, finalizing the plans, finalizing the card, finalizing the location. How sad is it that WWE has SummerSlam, their second biggest show of the year, if you guys want to call it that, the second biggest show of the year, and you're actually now nailing down plans 3 weeks away from the show? If that doesn't show you the current state of the WWE product, I don't know what will. Your plan should already be made. Your card should already be fleshed out in pen at this point before you finalize it. And the only thing you need to worry about is location. But even at that point, I don't even know why they're worrying about location, because they have something right now that a lot of places, a lot of companies in the industry don't have. And that is a home base to create television, to do everything you need to still have a product on TV. I don't get why you're worrying about this. There are so many more important things right now in the WWE that need your attention, and you're worrying about something that you already have, and that is a location for SummerSlam. I get it. We all want things to go back to normal. I get it. You want fans in attendance. You're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait. Everybody's gonna have to wait. MLB is operating with they're operating with fucking cardboard cutouts, for Christ's sakes, in the stands. They're operating with CGI video game crowds in some of these stadiums. NBA has no fans. NFL will have no fans. There are no major sports in the United States right now that have live audiences. Why does Vince McMahon think he is above everybody else? He's not. Vince, Bruce, you're not. Get it through your heads. This is the normal for now, hopefully. Hopefully. Vince McMahon only wants fans in attendance because it's going to feed his ego. He thinks if there's fans in attendance, he will have beaten COVID-19. He will have overcome the virus that is sweeping the United States. That is the only reason why he wants fans. If you think, sitting there watching me, that Vince McMahon wants fans because it's SummerSlam in attendance, you're a fucking fool. Vince McMahon wants fans in attendance because it's his own ego at stake. He will stop at nothing to get what he wants. And then when he doesn't get what he wants, he's gonna bitch and moan and make excuses, just like the one in this report about him being bored and tired of running shows at the Performance Center. Why don't you count your fucking stars while you got them and realize that you have something that a lot of people don't have, and that is a home base for the WWE. Switching gears here, man. We talked about SummerSlam and the confusion around SummerSlam. Nobody knows where it's going to take place. And now we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. Usually in the month of August, WWE had already sent out details for date, location, and ticket packages for fans to purchase in regards to Royal Rumble weekend. The Royal Rumble, as you guys know, takes place in January, and it kickstarts the road to WrestleMania. In my eyes, A, it's my favorite show of the year personally, from me to you, and B, the Royal Rumble is the true second biggest show of the year because it has WrestleMania implications, usually when things go right with WWE Creative, and that is never really the case. But the Royal Rumble usually has been announced by the time we get to SummerSlam weekend, and that is not happening this year. In regards to that, WrestleVotes actually tweets out, WWE had planned on announcing the 2021 Royal Rumble date and location in early August. I've been told that that announcement is on hold as details regarding that event are likely changing. Now, WWE hasn't been able to run any shows with actual fans in attendance, obviously, if you guys have been watching the program, since the pandemic started in the United States back in March. Instead, they've held shows at the WWE Performance Center. SummerSlam, if you guys remember, was supposed to take place in Boston. Marty Walsh, the mayor of Boston, said that there is no outdoor gatherings, large gatherings of any kind, and the company had to change course. There is no word yet on when WWE will make an announcement regarding the Royal Rumble, which takes place in January. Now, if it's any indication with SummerSlam and the way they're handling SummerSlam, they're probably going to do the same thing with the Royal Rumble. It'll be January 1st, and we still don't have a date, a location, maybe a date, a location, or any plans regarding the Royal Rumble. It's going to wait till the 11th hour in WWE. In Titan Tower, they will not have anything nailed down or concrete in regards to the Royal Rumble if you gauge what they're doing with SummerSlam. Again, I know you guys don't want to see the Royal Rumble inside the Performance Center. Vince and WWE management, even the roster, don't want the Royal Rumble to take place inside the Performance Center. It's not going to be the same. The Royal Rumble event is very iconic. The countdown clock from 10 all the way down to 1, and the buzzer goes off, and the next participant comes out in the Royal Rumble, and you go through all 30 men in the Royal Rumble. It's not going to be the same with the NXT recruits, the NXT talent that are there, giving those shows life. I get it. I really do. But WWE has, again, a home base, a safe space in the Performance Center. Instead of worrying about going to a different state and maybe getting fans and then getting turned down, being on a boat and having to go through all the safety protocols and insurance and going back and forth with this and that on whatever boat cruise you want to use, or if you got to go on a beach somewhere, which was my idea because I think the aesthetics of that would be amazing, going through the city to get all that squared away. So much work has to go into making all of this happen, and with 3 weeks to go, I don't see WWE doing any of that. And why would you want to go and do that? Then you got the weather to worry about if you're outdoors. Who knows what the weather's going to be like that day? We may see SummerSlam in the fucking middle of a hurricane or something. Who the fuck knows? But Vince McMahon is trying so hard to do what he feels like needs to be done. But you should just do what you have right now. You're lucky that there may even be a SummerSlam. You're lucky that there may even be a Royal Rumble. We don't know what the world is going to look like come January. For all we know, there may be a vaccine in place and things hopefully start getting back to normal. But all this confusion and all this stress that WWE is undertaking for themselves, why? Why? Just make sure, and this, I can't even stress this enough, make sure the card is worthy of having the name SummerSlam behind it. Have a card out there and a show and storylines in place that we can get excited about. I don't give a fuck if it's happening in your mother's backyard. I don't care. Make sure the show goes right with good creative and interest so that we can all enjoy the WWE program. That's all I care for. All this other shit doesn't need anything. You don't need to worry about any of this shit, man. Just make sure you put on a good show with storylines that we all care about. Even AJ Styles thinks WWE will not be able to hold events outside the Performance Center until 2021. This is where he usually does all of his ranting and just gets all of his truth out there. AJ Styles was on Twitch again, and WrestleVotes, like I said, WWE is looking into plans about where to put SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and during Wednesday's live stream, legitimately that same evening, AJ Styles commented on the reports about WWE trying to find an outdoor location for SummerSlam, even after it was moved from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. According to Styles, he said he would be surprised if WWE is able to run an event outside of the Performance Center in 2021. He says this, and I quote, "I have no idea what's going on with SummerSlam or where it's going to be, if it's going to be at the PC, or if we're actually going to get to do this outside the Performance Center. If I'm a betting man, I bet that we don't do anything until 2021 outside the Performance Center. I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong. But just based on everything and how everything is going on, it would surprise me if we did." Even AJ Styles, one of the elite in that company, who probably knows more than the majority of that roster, still probably nowhere near anything that we know or management knows. Still, he's probably just a puppet at the end of the day. But if there was one guy in that company that knew legitimately a nugget of information, it would be AJ Styles. And even he says that the WWE is not going to be holding live shows outside the Performance Center with fans until at least 2021. So guys, get it through your head. Nothing outside the Performance Center until 2021. If I'm a betting man as well, I'm going with AJ Styles in that same aspect as far as WWE programming. Now, if you guys recall last week, Adam Cole was on the Pat McAfee show, and I don't know what he was being interviewed for, but Adam Cole stormed off the show telling Pat McAfee to go fuck himself in what I thought was a big publicity stunt for something Undisputed Era, something NXT, or possibly something for NXT TakeOver 30 happening SummerSlam weekend. I thought it was great. It was clearly a work. I don't think Adam Cole would ever go on anybody's show and do that or act like that, show behavior like that to anybody, even though I know there's a lot of people out there that would love to tell Pat McAfee to go fuck himself. I don't think Adam Cole would do that to anybody. Now, I thought what they did was great. I thought it obviously generated buzz for Pat McAfee and Adam Cole. I don't know what the situation is with Adam Cole or the Undisputed Era, Next week, they have a tag team title match against Imperium. I don't know if that's going to factor into what we've seen here on the Pat McAfee show, because Adam Cole was pretty much berated by Pat McAfee, saying that the reason why he was longest reigning NXT champion was because he had the help of the Undisputed Era. Now, again, I don't know how this plays into what's going on with the Undisputed Era. This could probably be setting them up for their main roster demotion to either Raw or SmackDown. Again, I don't know. So you guys can obviously go and find the clip on Twitter. We talked about it. I did an OTS Extra on it with the clip included. And Adam Cole actually came out on social media and apologized for his actions on the Pat McAfee show. He says this, and I quote, "I've had the weekend to think about everything, and it's still hard to put into words where to begin. First of all, to anyone that I offended, I apologize. I apologize because I represent a brand that commands respect, not just because of what we do in the ring, but how we handle ourselves outside the ring. Even though he continued to push my buttons, I still should have kept my composure and acted like a professional. I'm embarrassed by my reaction, and I will make sure something like that never happens again. Thanks for the continued support, everyone." End quote. So, if you think this story ended there with Adam Cole's quote-unquote apology, you are mistaken, my fellow cretin. Triple H was actually on the Pat McAfee show to talk about the Adam Cole incident, and this is what he had to say about what Adam Cole did to Pat McAfee. Roll it.
You know, I apologize for Adam coming on your show. He is the nicest guy in the world on a lot of levels. Comes on your show, there's a interaction between the two of you that I believe is Adam being a little bit overly sensitive.
Concur.
And you, honestly, Pat, being Pat McAfee, which is you're a professional needle pusher.
Whoa,
you're a professional button pusher. That's what you do. You needle people for a living. You do it very well. It's how you've made a name for yourself.
Well, I will take that as an apology, but I didn't know that you knew he was coming on the show. To be honest, I had no idea. So I am just now learning that you knew he was coming on the show. Whenever that thing blows up like it does, and I saw the reaction that I got on the Twitter, by the way, by humans was next level through the entire thing. And to be honest, I was shook by it because that is not what my show is. I think you know that I'm a button pusher, but normally it's like in jest and fun. Let's have a good time here. Let's try to make people as relatable as possible. I think a lot of people were very confused about how he fucking flipped out. That was just next level. Did you have a conversation with him immediately afterwards, or how has that gone? Because he has gone out this morning and put out an apology. We saw that about an hour ago. Yeah. Have you talked to him since then? And how does this?
We spoke. I didn't ask him to put out an apology. I didn't ask him to do anything. I felt like, to me, this was him being on your show. He asked me if it was cool. I said yes. He did the show. He's a grown man responsible for his own actions in a way, and how he responded to it. But I think, Pat, I'm sure you've been in situations before where somebody, you're already on edge going into something. And I think that knowing your relationship in the past, Adam came on the show. Look, Pat, I'll be honest with you. You know, when you come in our world from the outside, people are leery from the outside, media people, everything else. And you've done stuff on our show and people have had fun with it. And you like to have fun. But to some of those talent, you're picking fun at something you're not really a part of. And you're attacking people that they see you as a guy that, and you said it on your own show, bought a ring one time, trained with Rip Rogers for a few days because he needed the money, and then interacts with them sometimes like, he's one of them. And I think they're hypersensitive to it. And I think it's been a while because of everything that's going on in the world. It's been a while since you've been around in a bigger way. So I think those things stew in people's mind. Adam comes on the show thinking, this will be cool. Pat and we'll get along great. And then you do what you do, which I agree is probably in jest, and probably at any other time he would have taken it in that manner. And it just struck him wrong. And he's a human being. He's a man. He had a bad day, right? And it struck him wrong, and he snapped. But I also think too there were moments in there, and This is just me talking to you man to man. I think there were moments in there where he started to clearly get agitated and you kept your foot on the gas.
So clearly Triple H is playing into the whole game that Pat McAfee and Adam Cole have set up here. He's a very good actor. Triple H is very good at what he does. I don't know, again, like I said, where this is leading. Obviously, it's good publicity for NXT. Pat McAfee gets thousands upon thousands of views. He's almost got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So it obviously is going to generate some interest for the NXT brand with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. Now, the interview ended with Triple H actually inviting Pat McAfee to come to NXT. I don't know whether that's a TV taping or, like I said, TakeOver, because NXT right now is building towards TakeOver 30 inside Full Sail University. He said this at the end of the interview: I don't know if Florida is in your plans anytime soon. I know you come down here sometimes. So anytime you're around, come on the show, he said. I'll promote your show. I'll promote you just like we've done before. And if you don't want to do it that way, if you just want to, you and him sit down in a room somewhere with nothing else around it, no promotion, not the show, anything like that, I'm fine with that too. This is about you and this is about Adam. Man to man, if you want to do that separately and because you're in Florida or whatever that is, jump on the show, whatever, I'm cool with that too. But I do think the two of you should sit in a room, Triple H added at the end of this interview. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's obviously a publicity stunt for NXT. But if you talk to Mark Henry, he doesn't think this was all a publicity stunt. He doesn't think this was a work. Mark Henry said this in regards to whatever happened with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee on Busted Open Radio. He says this, and I quote, "If you called Dusty Rhodes fat, he would assassinate your career. You couldn't work at a bingo hall in Poughkeepsie when he got through browbeating you. Pat McAfee has those kinds of abilities. He'll do it. Sleight of tongue, if you will. He's slick. You can't just go on with somebody that can really go verbally and not expect for what happened to happen." Pat started pushing his buttons. Then Adam Cole was the heel because he started it. And I love Adam Cole. He was the one that said, of all people to try and poke at somebody, you were a punter. He was the one that stabbed first. So he's the heel. Usually the best things come from reality, and I think if it's not, it will be. It should be. But I don't think it is. This is not a work. This is real shit that's going on, and it's going to have to be turned into a business decision because it's too good not to. Here we are with all this type of stuff that happened for a week in pro wrestling. We're talking about a verbal disagreement on a show. It was real, and that's why we are talking about it. Bully Ray also agreed that this is an instance of Pat McAfee pushing Adam Cole's buttons. Cole has heard things about his size throughout his career. He might even be hearing them about whatever in this situation going up to the main roster. You're going to hear that. People have already been talking about Adam Cole being a vanilla midget, getting called up to the main roster. He's got nothing special. Meanwhile, everybody's calling him the next Shawn Michaels on the main roster, future world champion, future WrestleMania main eventer. And he's awaiting a main roster call-up, and everybody's looking at him to be the face of the company. The Undisputed Era to do great things on the main roster. Now, I don't really take Bully Ray and what he says seriously. I don't really necessarily agree with Mark Henry here. I do think this is a work. I really do. And why wouldn't it be? WWE has had the AEW effect on their mind for months. If they could jump at any aspect to generate any interest for that show on Wednesday night, they will. You're not going to hear that from these shills. You're going to hear it right here on Off the Script. That's exactly what it is, folks. This is a publicity stunt for NXT on Wednesday night to generate interest. It's just another way to get the one up on AEW Dynamite, and that's my take on this. Adam Cole, Pat McAfee, and now Triple H is involved, inviting Pat McAfee to the show. This is all a part of the AEW effect. And finally, guys, to round out the news on this Friday afternoon, after recently making his debut on AEW Dynamite against Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship, Eddie Kingston has officially signed with All Elite Wrestling. AEW has confirmed that they've officially signed Eddie Kingston to a contract. They made it official publicly on Twitter. This is what they sent out. Welcome to the team. Hashtag Mad King. Hashtag Eddie Kingston is now hashtag All Elite. Hashtag sign Eddie Kingston is now hashtag Eddie Kingston is signed. Eddie Kingston actually tweeted out as well. He stated this: the stray dog is off the chain. I think this is an excellent move for AEW. You gotta support your local New Yorkers. He's been on the independent scene for 17, 18 years. One of the best in the business on the microphone. You're not gonna get any better than Eddie Kingston when it comes to intensity and bringing that realism to a pro wrestling show, man. This is a great move, and I said it when I watched him compete against Cody Rhodes. This could be their version of Kevin Owens for AEW, man. This is an excellent move, and I'm so happy that they brought him aboard. And it goes to show you one thing, man. The outpouring of support for Eddie Kingston when he made his debut on TNT against Cody for that TNT Championship, when that match was over, and you seen that promo he cut exclusively on their Twitter page where he was overly emotional about what he just went through with Cody, being on Dynamite, being in the ring for that TNT Championship. There was so much support for him to be signed by AEW. This goes to show you one thing, that AEW takes the fans of the product and their opinion so seriously, man. And that's what makes AEW stand apart from the garbage that WWE is currently putting on, man. AEW will go out of their way to listen to their fan base, and that's why they will be successful when a lot of people out there, for no reason at all, want them to fail. This is an excellent move, and I'm so happy for Eddie Kingston. I can't wait to see what he does on AEW Dynamite. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on this OTS Extra. I know you were probably waiting for me to do a full-blown episode of Off the Script 337. No worries, man. I'll be back on Saturday afternoon at 5 p.m. with a full explosive episode of the podcast this week. And follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up down below. If you missed any of the other videos down below in the description of this one, go and check it out. All the playlists you need are right there. And I'll see you guys tonight for WWE SmackDown. Does Bayley lose the championship to Nikki Cross, or do we see a heel turn from Alexa Bliss? I'll see you guys tonight.